MacPhee taking the early aggression. Both fighters throwing quick punches, Jeremy.
Yeah, both these guys have explosive, and a nice catch there by Urso, and working in to wrestle. But again, that tape that Urso would have watched on MacPhee, he has been working wrestling a lot since then to be able to balance out his game. And again, a nice quick knee there, as both these guys showing the explosion and the reason that they're pros.
MacPhee has Urso up against the cage, throws a couple leg kicks, trying to land the damage. Urso slips him and tries to secure a takedown, but MacPhee gets up against the cage to prevent it.
Good push here by Urso, trying to keep MacPhee stuck to the cage. Now locking those hands in behind and looking to get a takedown. Good defense by MacPhee as he lifts and elevates those arms, taking away the takedown attempt.
Urso and MacPhee locked up, and a nice slip there. Urso gets behind MacPhee. MacPhee rolling, looking for a leg, but Urso finds himself on top of MacPhee here and lands a punch in the early going.
And some danger here for Nick Urso if he's not careful with that leg that's trapped.
Yeah, has one leg in between the legs of MacPhee.
And a good elbow. What this does is it prevents Urso from posturing up. If he postures up on that foot, MacPhee will be able to sweep him and take him down. So a good defense here by Mitch MacPhee.
Nice elbow there again from Urso on top. Urso's leg.
And I have never seen this technique before, so I'll have to ask Mitch after so I can educate myself. But very effective. You can see that it seems to be on the mind of Nick Urso as he rains down some punches.
Urso continuing to throw punches. MacPhee doing a good job of not taking too much damage in this position. But again, you can't do nothing as a judge but look at a guy that's on top landing punches and start to score the round in his favor.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 20 seconds remain. Again, 5-minute rounds with 1 minute break here in our pro fights, our featurefights.ca clock in the bottom right-hand corner.
Pushing Urso away. Again, that leg still trapped underneath the leg of MacPhee. And at some points it looks as though it twists awkwardly, but Urso just fighting right through it.
And he's also attempting to triangle it. So, again, it could have been just a position that he's trying to work and that he ended up in, or it could be a technique. And good attacks here by Nick Urso, trying to make the most of his time on top.
Again, more elbows being thrown from Urso. MacPhee limiting the damage, but the damage still coming with 1.5 minutes to go in round one.
Big elbow there by Urso.
Yeah, that leg is triangled in there. MacPhee holding on to it, so Urso's got nowhere to go. Now trying to pop out of it, but unable to do so.
It looks like Urso's got himself free, and he's in the half guard of Mitch MacPhee.
Nick Urso in the white trunks on top right now, out of the blue corner. MacPhee has spent the better part of the last 3 minutes on his back, just trying to prevent much more damage from occurring. But Urso very good and working on top, and a big punch coming in there.
Yeah, right hand finally freed up. And that's what having that leg was taking away. Having that leg was taking away that big right hand, and Urso was working primarily with lefts. And now he's able to free up that right hand to do some damage.
20 seconds left on our feature fight clock. As Urso and MacPhee go in our first professional match of the night. More punches now coming from Urso. It's like he heard the clapper and a sense of urgency came over him. And that's the end of round one, a very solid first round. Both fighters now in round number 2. Black trunks for MacPhee, white trunks for Urso. Big head kick attempted, but MacPhee dodges that, comes back with a couple strikes of his own, and again, Urso catches that side kick.
Yeah, and the thing with a leg kick is you want to bring it back down to the mat as fast as you bring it up so that you can not get caught like that.
Knee to the midsection from Urso, who has MacPhee up against the cage again. Urso said he got into mixed martial arts in the first place because he was always a smaller guy and he needed a way to defend himself, but now that he's a professional, he just fights guys his own size, so that need isn't there anymore.
Oh, a nice shot there. A good left hand by Urso, catching Mitch MacPhee square on the jaw. Nice short kick back by MacPhee.
Inside leg kick from Urso. Both fighters exchanging strikes at this point. MacPhee goes in swinging. Urso staying at just the right distance to avoid getting hit and swings in himself with a nice left. Another left hook comes and connects.
And you look at the striking by Nick Urso compared to the striking of Mitch MacPhee, a little bit more technical is Urso's striking. MacPhee's punches coming one after another, and a more classical boxing striking from Nick Urso. Good combination there by Mitch MacPhee, but largely missing.
Independent MMA, one of the newer gyms here in Calgary. Reputation is climbing, though. MacPhee has Urso up against the cage, throwing some knees to the midsection. Urso bulls his way around him, though. And coming in, giving up about 3 or 4 inches is Urso, but he seems to be able to get inside and land those strikes, Jeremy.
Yeah, and there's a great shot there as he ducked the arm, switched to a high crotch position, and a nice takedown by Nick Urso. And Mitch MacPhee finds himself on his back again.
Urso, who worked the ground and pound very effectively in round number 1, now has 2.5 minutes to work here in round number 2. A nice right hand coming over. You could hear MacPhee's head hit the canvas there. Some more punches. Again, the ground and pound very effective here from Nick Urso. Very much staying busy.
Yeah, there, and you don't want to be called up in this situation. Again, we talked about how you don't want to necessarily end up losing a position when you've got a dominant position, and if you stay busy, the referee has no excuse to call you up. If you stop and stall for a couple seconds, then they have the option to call you up and back standing. As
we saw earlier in the Keegan Oliver-Rick Pfeiffer fight, these two now, again, Urso trying to moved into half guard, has tried to pop a couple times into the side control, but a good defense on the bottom so far from Mitch MacPhee. Again, more work from the top. Nick Urso relentless thus far in throwing punches at the body and the face of Mitch MacPhee.
1 minute remains now on our featurefights.ca clock as you see, and now a dangerous position here by Mitch MacPhee as getting the head underneath there and possibly for a side choke, but back down to half guard. And there's the opportunity again, and Nick Urso is laying down some big punches there, and the official's going to be on top of that, making sure that Mitch MacPhee is defending himself. If he doesn't defend, they will stop the fight.
Urso had an undefended look as he had pinned MacPhee's arm underneath and was able to sneak several punches through that other arm, the one-arm defense of Mitch MacPhee. And again, just continues to land strikes from the top position. Nick Urso is doing a ground and pound clinic right now.
And Mitch MacPhee showing his toughness as less than 10 seconds remain in round 2. And I think you see both these rounds going to Nick Urso, but
a little slower start to the third round. Nice inside leg kick. MacPhee coming forward with punches, trying to utilize his reach advantage.
If I'm the coach of Mitch MacPhee, I'm telling my fighter to come forward with all he's got at this point. If another takedown happens, it's pretty much fight over, because it looks like Nick Urso is very good at controlling Mitch MacPhee on the ground.
Again, MacPhee coming in with strikes, both of them trading back and forth. MacPhee likely got the better of that exchange. Again, a slight reach advantage, a knee to the face there from MacPhee in the clinch. But Urso again pushing MacPhee up against the cage, trying to dominate the position of where this fight takes place.
Yeah, now throwing knees is Mitch MacPhee. And a caught on the knee and a good slam there by Nick Urso, catching the knee of Mitch MacPhee and taking him down.
It seemed almost that Urso was goading him into the knee, putting his head out a little, knowing that he could get a takedown if he ate the knee, and that he did, and ends up on top again, this time with nearly 4 minutes remaining in the third round. Nick Urso on top.
And there needs to be a sense of urgency here from Mitch MacPhee in getting off his back, whatever he can do at this point, because he has to know he's down 2 rounds to none.
MacPhee's going to be looking for a submission from the bottom, trying to focus on that one arm of Urso. Urso has it under the head of MacPhee now, though, not going to be available for a submission attempt. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this third and deciding round at Hard Knocks 29 in our first professional fight of the night between Nick Urso and Mitch MacPhee.
Continuing to land shots is Nick Urso. Perhaps looking to isolate. He's got the one arm trapped behind his head. The other arm he's looking to trap under his knee, and he does have that now, and he's going to be able to rain down some pretty heavy elbows there.
Yeah, there was one there that opened up the face of Mitch MacPhee, who's now bleeding from just beside his eye after a big elbow. And that one's starting to bleed pretty good. Just on the other side of the action is the wound. Mitch MacPhee trying to power his way out and finds himself giving up his back. Nick Urso raining punches down now, trying to capitalize on the injury to Mitch MacPhee. You hear it from guys often, Jeremy, that when they open up a cut, it's like a big target on the guy's face, and that's where they're going to aim for. And Urso doing that now on top of Mitch MacPhee.
And you can see the damage on the mat and on the back of Nick Urso, on the face of Nick Urso. And he's got a nice cut in a pretty bad location here for Mitch MacPhee, as he will continue to target it, will Nick Urso.
Urso now trying to continue the ground and pound that he did for the first 2 rounds. Knees now to the midsection of MacPhee, breaking MacPhee down, holding him down. Again, has the back and has had this dominant position for about 2.5 minutes thus far in round number 3.
And there's a big knee there to the side. You can see the blood coming down as Nick Urso just controlling Mitch MacPhee, landing some shots to keep him honest. But at this point, almost a point where now Mitch can stand up. And a little bit telegraphed there, unfortunately.
Yeah, tried to drop down and pull the foot through, and Mitch MacPhee is almost got the crimson mask on, Jeremy, bleeding quite badly from that elbow next to his knee.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome, but trying to get through, and now he's got it. So maybe some late round heroics there, but Nick Urso able to get his leg back, and will be wary of such trickery for the rest of the fight. 20 seconds remain now on our featurefights.ca clock.
Urso with the back of MacPhee has the one hand down. Now behind him again, probably fairly confident in his chances of this fight based on the fact that he spent a good 10 of 15 minutes in control on the ground and did an excellent job there. This one will go to the judges as Mitch MacPhee and Nick Urso await the judges' decision in the third and final round.